How many times have I sat here and said these words? Activision has done it again. I mean, it's even becoming hard to make the video thumbnails look different. But this time, there is something that's different. This isn't Call of Duty Black Ops 4, it's Crash Team Racing. Hey everyone and welcome back to another report. Yes, it's another Activision one, and as we will see today, they seem to be inserting microtransactions into yet another game post-launch, something that makes their business model very clear indeed. And by the way, we are hiring a writer/researcher for this channel. If you want more information, check out the jobs page, which is linked below. Okay, Crash Team Racing has already been a tremendous success for Activision Publishing, being able to shift 552,000 copies digitally by the end of June. A strong performance considering that the game only released on the 21st of June. Thing is, it will have sold far more than that overall because sure, games are moving to digital, but that is mostly on the PC platform, and that's a platform that this game was not released on. People like physical games on consoles, especially on the Nintendo Switch, which I believe this game will have probably done quite well on, especially because the Switch does come with pretty low amounts of onboard storage. So what does all this mean? Well, I think we can safely say this game sold over 1 million copies in June across both physical and digital, and probably a lot more as the months roll on. So no doubt this game has been a big sales success. It's a game that sold at a reasonable price that had no microtransactions on launch, but did seem to have a live service business model. Now, while this would conjure up all the usual fears of that business model, it's worth noting what was said about the game in its pre-launch period. While there is not a direct quote because it seems to have been at a round table, just about everyone is sourcing a Screen Rant article about the game that reported a member of the development team saying at a round table in E3 that the game would not feature microtransactions, and note that E3 was quite shortly before the game's launch. Now that said, the Microsoft Store page entry for this does say offers in-app purchases, and I did say a user report that it had showed that before launch. So what this means is kind of hard to tell. Did a developer misspeak? Were they talking about launch only, or was the store just marked that way to ensure they were covered? Either way, generally, people thought it would have no microtransactions, and they clearly did not, make a public statement on that to set their record straight. So regardless, yes, they didn't make it clear, which is quite unlike how they've handled the Call of Duty franchise recently, where both of its recent entries, with those, they did say, they did state their intent to add the shop post-launch. What surprised people is just how far they went after that. Now, what's actually happened? Well, the game's got a live service mechanic called the Grand Prix. Now, these are in the form of seasonal updates that add a bunch of new cosmetic shop items, a new rewards track, in this case a competitive card and decal, plus a new track. Now, there are then challenges across multiple categories that will give you nitro points, and these points are used to progress along the season's rewards track, which is quite similar to, say, just like a battle pass reward track if you've seen one of those, and they're, I think, about every 8 weeks. Now, these nitro points are not the same as Wampa coins. Now, as you go through the Activision blog post covering this update, you'll see a little asterisk beside the Wampa coins. Why? Well, if you keep on going down, you'll get to this statement. Starting in early August, players will have the option to purchase Wampa coin bundles from their game console stores to supplement coins earned while playing. This option won't change the game's core mechanics. Players will still earn Wampa coins by playing the game in any mode just as before. They will just be able to purchase additional coins if they choose. So yes, the currency that you earn from completing content in the game can now be purchased with real money, and those Wampa coins go into the Pit Stop shop that has been in the game since launch, and it's a typical sort of rotating store, a bit like what you see in a lot of other modern games like Fortnite or indeed Call of Duty Black Ops 4 if we want to go with another Activision Blizzard title. Then items from previous Grand Prix are rotated in, so the overall game plan here is pretty darn clear. Keep the seasons going, add a bunch of new cosmetics for each one, and then put them into the store, rotate them about once they're no longer part of the current season. And by doing this, they can continually increase the total potential microtransaction value of the game, much like what they've been doing with their Call of Duty Black Ops 4 updates. But you see, here's the thing. We've seen this stuff happen with an Activision game before. With Call of Duty Black Ops 4, we know where they started, and we know where they've ended up now, which is quite extreme. So let's map some of those events onto Crash Team Racing. First, loot boxes. Crash Team Racing does not currently have them, while Black Ops did not have them be initially purchasable. They did later make them be purchasable through their aptly named Grand Heist update. So it's not insane to think that a future Grand Prix update could add, Overwatch or Black Ops like loot boxes. It would be in line with what they've done in the past. Now, they could add past season cosmetics into the loot box pool quite easily. Additionally, they could also easily pad out those loot boxes with per cart modifications, such as death effects, spawn-in effects, maybe speed trails, victory emotes, and more. And then, of course, there's a seasonal rewards track. They could just let you directly purchase progression through that track, like even what you see in, say, Apex Legends, or of course Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Now, what's the worst that it could get? Well, if the new carts had statistical variance and were on the store, then you could be getting into some pay-to-win territory. Now, the degree to which these things are implemented, we do not know, but note that Black Ops 4 did surge up to top console revenue according to Superdata last month, and that likely is off the back of their recent doubling down on the microtransaction revenue. So overall with this, we see a number of interesting trends that raise important issues. Now, the first interesting distinction is that over in the Call of Duty franchise, you're buying Call of Duty points, right? And that's a premium-only currency. Whereas in this one, you are just buying the in-game currency with real money. Now, I think that's quite interesting. Players are going to have a stronger sort of time value association with those Wampa coins because they earn them while they're playing the game. So that does mean that you can think, on average, if I, do so many races, I'll get so many coins, and you can sort of get a direct dollar value from that. So I've got to wonder if that's going to be more motivating or less motivating for people. If people maybe see a really expensive cart in the store and they think, well, this is going to take me 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever of earning Wampa coins, or I could just buy them. That is definitely quite different to seeing an item in the microtransaction store, but knowing that, it's only there as a premium currency where it's more of a direct purchase and the connection to your personal time invested in earning that currency is no longer there, outside, of course, your personal time invested earning the, real world currency that you're going to be putting into the game, which of course a lot of people will feel. So that's one interesting distinction. Now, the other trend here is sneaking them in post-launch and really kind of double dipping. See, with the Call of Duty franchise, they were selling that game, at full ticket value, right? $60. And they sold a lot of copies of that game. And sure, a lot of people will have known that those microtransactions will have been coming in, at least the initial version that I think people are a bit more okay with. But yeah, it certainly is a case of, we've altered the deal, pray we don't alter the deal further. And in this case, yeah, you buy this game for its listed RRP. The game is one thing, and then very shortly later, the game is now another thing, because this definitely is another dimension to the game's monetization. It does feel rather sneaky to not be completely upfront and communicative about that stuff. And that's just one trend in modern gaming that I'm not particularly happy with. It really seems like it actually reminds me a lot of some of the growth-based, startup tech stuff, where initially it's just about getting as many users as you can. So in this case, getting as many users into your live service. Now, the unique thing about Activision is they do that while still being able to sell their games at full price, which is a unique strength of their business that a lot of other companies don't have. I think in this case for them, it's because of the brand loyalty. But that's kind of the point. You get as many people in with, whatever the deal is. And then once you've done that, you think about how do I then monetize these people? Like, say, Twitter or whatever, they get as many users as they can, and they realize, oh dear, we now need to monetize those users. And it kind of seems like that. They're getting as many people onboarded, and then they're experimenting on different models with those users. And, you see Call of Duty Black Ops 4, that's kind of the past. You see this game being the present. And then, of course, there's Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And we'll have to see what that game is going to be like and how it approaches these issues. It's likely going to be pretty hardcore, seeing how Call of Duty Black Ops 4 has been pretty hardcore with its microtransactions, but once again, I don't think we're going to see them be extremely communicative about that. I don't think they're going to say what their 6-month microtransaction plan for Modern Warfare is. I think they'll maybe let people know what the initial steps will be, but not much more past that. And that is an issue when you see where Call of Duty Black Ops 4 ended up going. And then I suppose there's another interesting topic here, which is, how would you like to pay for your content? Because this game, content-wise, seems to be pretty good. It seems like there's just a constant feed of new tracks and new carts. And in a kart racing game, that's what you want, and I'm sure there'll be new power-ups and things like that as well. that seems really quite good. It seems like that's a good way of keeping that game healthy and people enjoying it, but it does make you think, how would you like to pay for that content? Because the other way of doing it is that content is just DLC that you have to purchasing a map pack. But we all know what the problems of those map packs are in the past, and one thing that a lot of people have been sold on with live services is, hey, you get all the gameplay related content like for free. And yeah, then you have a cash shop or something like that. I suppose the difference here is that it's a $60 game, but to what degree is the $60 you purchasing the full launch version of the game versus that $60? In this case, the game doesn't cost $60, by the way. I believe it was $35 or $40. It wasn't at full price, but like, to what degree is that initial entry price you buying a full game, or just you sort of buying your ticket into the theme park? There's definitely a framing issue there about how we see our games. If I think about, say, Battlefield 1 versus Battlefield 5. In Battlefield 5, yeah, all of the new gameplay content is free, but you've got to contend with this really annoying live service. And frankly, as somebody who wants to go in and just have a good premium experience, I would have rather just purchased Battlefield 1 and Battlefield Premium and just got all of my maps. And a lot more maps, is what we would have gotten versus the drip feed that game has ended up giving people. But I guess that's probably less of a live service thing and more of a DICE seemingly having severe production issues thing. But still, it does make you wonder about the future of games business models and what consumers do actually prefer. Would you rather purchase that content? Would you rather it just comes for free, but you have to deal with a cash shop? And then I think there's a big thing, and I'll probably do a deep dive in this later, of what people say versus what they do. Because there's a lot of times where the most sort of clear, fair, and upfront thing ends up being, well, that, but being a bit less psychologically manipulative, a bit less engaging, and then people don't do it as much. And then the more like psychologically engaging or manipulative things, they do better, and that's what people end up doing, even though while they're doing it, they're saying that they don't like doing it. So it's a very, very interesting topic to deal with gaming, because at the end of the day, it's, human psychology, and these companies are very, very good at playing to that. And then I suppose talking about the direction of Activision Publishing, I think it's pretty clear that Activision Publishing are going in this direction with the live service games that they can do the continuous updates for. It'll be very interesting to see what the content is like for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. We've seen that they've made Crash Team Racing into a live service. You've got things like Sekiro, which of course are not a live service, but that was a third-party collab with FromSoft. So we'll have to see what they're doing. Is Crash Team Racing a replacement for, is that a replacement for Destiny? I mean, in a recent earnings call, they did talk about the sort of Crash Team Racing / Spyro stuff being like a real tentpole of their business model. So you've got to wonder how much that will continue into the future and what they'll do. And then I guess moving over to another business unit of Activision Blizzard. Remember, Activision Blizzard is here. Then underneath that, you've got Activision Publishing, and you've also got Blizzard Entertainment. So you've got to wonder, what will future Blizzard Entertainment titles be like? Will Diablo 4 have these cash shop elements? I mean, given Fashion Frame, over in Warframe, given Call of Duty, and even given Overwatch, I'd be surprised if there was not a cosmetic skin element in that game, as much as it really could erode at the core of the gameplay loop. I wouldn't be surprised if they did it, unfortunately. Looking at Overwatch 2, if that is a sort of team PvE shooter, there's a lot of room for the microtransaction cosmetics there. And I suppose that'll be really telling. Will Blizzard change over time away from what many people think they used to be with, the business model influence from Activision Blizzard? Although that said, it's worth saying, Blizzard have been doing stuff like this for a long time. They have been selling mounts in the mount store in World of Warcraft for a very long time indeed. So it's not like they've been perfectly blameless for, forever. Although, of course, that was still in the Activision era. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think about this. Especially, I'd love to know, what do you think about how we pay for games? What do you think is ideal? To what degree do you think a cash shop is Like, to what degree do you think it's okay to have a cash shop if you're getting like a drip free feed of free content? I'd really like to hear what your opinions are on that. And then, of course, if you're interested in the writing/research role that we have for this channel, check out our job posting down below. A massive thank you to everyone who has supported this channel, and a special thank you to all the patrons. They really are helping make this possible, and it will hopefully just amount to a lot more really good stuff here. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.